Hey, what's up everybody? This is Justin with Sillage Scents. I've got a video today with 10 fragrances I just can't stop wearing. Every one of these is awesome. These are fragrances I really personally enjoy, and if you've been tracking with my videos and you seem to have similar tastes, then you probably also would really enjoy every one of these. Let me know down in the comments what are some fragrances you just can't stop wearing, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. First up, I'll mention a couple cheapies and then we'll get into some that are a little more expensive. One of the ultimate cheapies that has fallen on the floor here. This is a $7 fragrance, and it's a clone of one that I used to run through like it was going out of style. I went through several full-size bottles of the original Le Male by JPG. This is a $7 clone that's a little fresher and a little less sweet, although perhaps a little more synthetic. This is Cuba Gold. Amazing that this Cuba line has so many great fragrances for such cheap prices. And this is one that, I'll spray it on in the evening sometimes, or if I'm just running around. It's not a crazy performer, maybe like a 6-hour fragrance, but it will immediately remind you of the original Le Male. It's one that's kind of gone out of style because it's from the, mid 90s or so. But if it had never come out, and if this same fragrance were to come out today, then I think people would pick it up and wear it and say, wow, what an awesome scent. And since it's a little bit fresher and a little less sweet, I think that also makes it a little more versatile. So great, $7 pickup. There's another one here. I've got a bunch of these, but this is Cuba Royal. This is not officially in the list. This is Cuba Royal Red, I believe it's called. It smells almost just like 1 Million, but it came out before 1 Million. Some people say Paco Rabanne ripped off Cuba. I don't know if that's true or not, but all right, another one that is a crazy cheapie, and this is a great fragrance. I spray this on probably once a week at some point through the day. This is a clone that is right in between ombre leather and Tuscan leather. It's got the smoothness and the spiciness from ombre leather. It's got the fruitiness from Tuscan leather. And you can get this for $10 if you find it at the rack store. I got mine for like $5.50 because it was on clearance for some reason. This is the original Ben Sherman Signature. It's unbelievable what you get for $10 with this fragrance. I actually, honestly, prefer this to ombre leather. It's a little bit sweeter. It's not overly sweet, but it's a little bit sweeter. And when you add in that fruitiness, to me, it makes it even more wearable than ombre leather. And I think it even makes it a little more versatile. I'll be wearing this one, until it's probably 90 degrees, because that little bit of fruitiness in it, and it's not harsh or anything like that. It's just a very smooth, very pleasant leather fragrance. And it's crazy what you get for $10 from this fragrance. If you like ombre leather, you'll love it. And I even like the ways that it's altered that DNA. Let's see, what's another cheapie here? Here's another cheapie, a little more. We're stepping up a little bit. This is about a $25 fragrance. But this one is a clone of Maison Martin Margiela's By the Fireplace, and it's a really good clone, although there are some differences. This is Lattafa's AMEER Al Oud Intense. This is burning woods and roasting marshmallows. That's what you're going to get. It's like you're sitting by the fireplace roasting marshmallows. The Lattafa has a little bit more of an oudiness, not much, but a little bit of that Middle Eastern funk that's added in, just a touch. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit smokier. So it's sort of like an amped up version of By the Fireplace, but it's still very similar. It's a killer performer. One of the things I love about this fragrance is after it's on your skin for a couple hours, you start to get a spiciness that starts coming out that is just amazing. So it does change quite a bit on my skin. I really appreciate that. All right, one more that is a cheapie if you can find it. And this is one that you can get for $20 at rack stores if you can find it. You'll probably pay more like 30 to 40 if you find it on a discounter website. But this is from English Laundry, which are inexpensive when you can find them, but very good quality designer fragrances. And this is my favorite out of the English Laundry line, the ones that I'm aware of anyway. This is Tahitian Waters. This is a tropical vacation in a bottle. You've got coconut and lime and brown sugar. You've got a musky dry down, something that reminds me, it smells to me like there's a little bit of vetiver in this fragrance, although they don't list it, but it does give you a little bit of a vibe of vetiver, unless it's the musk that they're using that smells that way. But this one is so good. And I love it. You know, you spray it on and you immediately get like Jimmy Buffett kind of vibes. I've got several fragrances that are kind of in this sort of a family, in this feel, and this might be my favorite of them. What you get for $20 here, it reminds me a little bit of Millesime Imperial with some differences, but a similar kind of vibe. It's a good performer. It's about an 8-hour fragrance. It's a pretty powerful fragrance. You know, you're going to get a couple hours of projection. You're going to leave a nice scent trail behind you. This is a great one. If you ever find it, I would really encourage you to pick it up. I can't imagine someone not liking that unless they just hate tropical fragrances. All right, next up, we're bumping a little bit out of the territory. Actually, I got one more cheapie for you before we start to increase a little. This is another one that is a cheapie. It's like a $30 or less fragrance on discounters, and this is an amazing scent. It's not a clone. This is Pepe Jeans Celebrate. And so what you're going to get with this one is a fruity, gourmand, somewhat spicy fragrance. Definitely geared towards cooler weather, although that fruitiness does make it, you know, a little more versatile. I just wouldn't wear it in the heat of summer. But what you're going to get in this one, there's blackcurrant and cacao are kind of the main notes, or the stars of the show. And the cacao reminds me a little bit of like a cocoa butter or a white chocolate. The blackcurrant has almost a little bit of like a tart berry vibe, like a blackberry or something like that. And so you're going to get a blackcurrant berry sweetness with a white chocolate vibe, and then a little bit of spiciness from, I believe it's cinnamon that it has in there, maybe even cardamom, but sort of sweet spices mixing in with that. It's just a great fragrance. And I initially thought that this one was a horrible performer, but now that I've had it for a year or so, or 9 months or something like that, I picked it up again and sprayed it on. And since I've been wearing it these last few months, it's like a 10-hour fragrance. It's been blowing my mind. I'll smell it at the end of a long work day and it's still going strong. So great pickup, sub $30. All right, the next one. This is starting to bump up a little bit out of cheapie territory, but it's still, if you get the 1.5 ounce bottle or whatever size this is, you can get it for less than $30. This is the original Coach for Men. And so this is a blue fragrance. It's based around ambroxan. It's got a citrus ginger opening. It's got that ambroxan heart. It's got some woods in the dry down. So kind of like your classic blue profile, but there is something special about this one. I think it's the ambroxan and that little bit of freshness that you get in the opening. There's just something different. I've got maybe 10 or so blue fragrances. I'm going to do a video about blue fragrances soon. But this one is definitely in my top 3 blue fragrances that I've ever smelled. And I gave this as a Christmas gift to 3 guys. All of them love it. Their spouses love it. This is an amazing crowd pleaser. My wife loves it. One of the guys was standing next to me a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Man, you smell amazing. What is that?" And before he could even answer me, I said, "Oh, that's Coach for Men. I love the way that fragrance smells." So this is one, again, less than $30 for the small bottle. You can get a full size, 100 ml for about $40, $45. This is a great pickup. I'm halfway through with my little bottle. I've got to get another bottle. All right. Let's see here. These aren't going to be in exactly order of price, but I'm kind of trying to go that way. This next one, this was a $45 fragrance, but it's a really good clone of a $500 fragrance. This is a clone of BR 540 Extrait, Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait, and this is Amber Oud Ruby Edition by Haramain. I don't know how they do it, how they produce the smell of this fragrance with the notes that they use. But again, it's an ambroxan-based fragrance. It's an ambroxan that is built to smell like ambergris, and it's got saffron in the opening with bitter almond. I can give you the actual notes that they list anyway. In the heart, you've got jasmine and cedar, and then in the base, you've got ambergris, which is really ambroxan, and then woody notes and musk. But as you probably know, what you get is a very airy, kind of mystical, three-dimensional fragrance that's got somewhat of a cotton candy sweetness with that interesting texture from the saffron and that almond note that causes it to really stand out. I have several clones of BR 540, and I've tried a bunch of them, and this is my favorite of the Extrait especially, but just across the board, this is my favorite clone of either of the BR 540s. It's a monster performer. It's like a 12-hour fragrance. Again, I got the tester on Joma Shop for 45 bucks. If you like BR 540, this is the one I would encourage you to get above all the others that I'm aware of. All right, another one that is in about that price range. I think you can get the 100 ml of this for about $45, $50, something like that. This is one of my top 3 fragrances of all time, my favorite leather fragrance, and I love leather fragrances. This is Philippe Plein No Limits. This is an amazing leather fragrance, but it's the most wearable leather imaginable. I've gotten a bunch of compliments from this fragrance. It is leather with a dark chocolate note, with a cardamom and cinnamon spiciness. I'll give you a few of the notes. You've got black pepper, you've got cardamom, you've got cinnamon, you've got star anise, you've got cloves, you've got ginger. Now you won't get all of that. If you like cardamom, you like cinnamon, and it's sort of that sweet, spicy bite, you're going to get some of that, but mix that with a dark chocolate. So not an overly sweet, milky chocolate, but a dark chocolate note and a very smooth, soft leather. This is one of the most pleasing leather fragrances, and definitely the leather fragrance that I've gotten the most compliments from. I don't get a ton of compliments with leather fragrances, but this one is really the exception. Most people who wear leather fragrances wear them for themselves, but this one you'll love, and so will everyone around you. All right, climbing on up the ladder just a little bit. This is one that is a very well-known fragrance. This is the EDP of a very popular line, Versace EROS. EROS EDP. This is just an amazing fragrance. One of the best-selling fragrances of our day. You've got a beautiful candied apple opening. You've got some mint. You've got a vanilla that just really smooths everything out. You've got a little bit of citrus, I believe lemon. But what it smells like is pretty much the EDT, which is probably the most well-known of these fragrances, with the sweetness tamped down a little bit, and a little bit of a longer lasting fragrance. It's a more dense, it's an EDP rather than an EDT, so it's going to last on your skin more. To me, it is a slightly more versatile, slightly more mature version of EROS EDT. And if you like that, sweet, minty vanilla, then you're going to love EROS EDT. You can't go wrong with that one. Okay, I think this is number 10. I'm looking over my pile here. I think I've gone through all of them. It's the most expensive in the list. It's one of the best fragrances ever made as far as I'm concerned. I know that's a big fragrance. It's a beast mode performer. It's a 12-hour fragrance. I mean, awesome projection for 4 hours, scent trail for 6-8 hours. It's a crowd pleaser. Everyone who smells this fragrance absolutely loves it. So you get what you pay for at $100 to $125 for the 100 ml. This is Spicebomb Extreme. Definitely a cold weather fragrance, but in fall or winter, it's pretty versatile. Wear it casual, wear it dressed up. I love this fragrance. And what you're going to get is tobacco, vanilla, and of course, a whole bunch of spices. This one's got some black pepper. It's got some cinnamon, some nutmeg. It is a spice bomb. It is, you know, again, one of my favorite fragrances, and I love spicy fragrances. To me, I've begun to associate it with Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's definitely got that vibe about it, but that's not the only times that you can wear it. I sometimes tend to pigeonhole a fragrance, but I love this one so much that I'm still wearing it here in March. I'm not going to wear it if it's 80 degrees outside, but I'll still wear this fragrance because I just can't stop wearing those that are on this list. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments, what would you add to the list? And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks.